As a continuation of our discussion of what science is, namely a method of investigating the world around us, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about some of the background beliefs, the underlying assumptions upon which science rests. Uh, these are often called presuppositions, meaning something that you kind of need to believe before you go on to something else. One of the first presuppositions of science is the presupposition of natural order, the nature of reality itself, ontology. Science, for it to work as a way of investigating the natural world, science assumes that nature is not chaotic, nor is it completely random and unpredictable. Instead, we assume that nature is intelligible. It's able to be understood. So in physics, in chemistry, in biology, and in psychology, we assume that there is an order present. So that's the first presupposition of science, that order is present. And it's there, it's real, it's in creation, it's in nature, and it can be uncovered. And that kind of leads to the second presupposition, which asks the question, who can uncover the natural order? And at least on planet Earth, the answer to that question is human beings. We have the ability to discern the order in the natural world and investigate it and make a systematic study of that natural order. So that's the second presupposition, human ability. We have the ability as human beings to look out into the natural world and find the order that is inherent in creation itself. Which leads to the question, why would we want to do that? Why do we care? Why do we seek to know about the natural world? Why do we seek to know about the genome? Why do we seek to know about the workings of the human brain? Why do we seek to understand depression and what leads to it? So this third presupposition really assumes that knowledge in and of itself has inherent value. There is a goodness to knowing the truth, to knowing about things in the natural world. So, as the old poster in grade schools used to say, knowledge is assumed to have some degree of power. But there's another reason for knowing about the natural world, to knowing about biology and psychology and physics and chemistry, and that is that the knowledge can be used to help human beings. It can be used to alleviate human suffering. And that is assumed to have some degree of value. That suffering is bad, and alleviating that suffering is good. Again, this is not something that can be proven using the scientific method. It's assumed to be true. So we have the assumption, the presupposition of natural order. We have the presupposition of human ability to uncover that order. We have the presupposition that knowledge being gained is good. And then the presupposition that alleviating human suffering through this knowledge is also a good thing, which could also be said to be the presupposition of human primacy, that we do animal research in order to aid the human population. So there we have several presuppositions. Now, this set of presuppositions, in a sense, demonstrates that science rests upon certain things that it, as a method of gaining knowledge, cannot prove. Order, human ability, knowledge having value, life having value, human suffering having value, are things that we cannot prove through the use of the scientific method. So science has its limits because it rests upon certain things that it cannot prove. There are some, though, who would say that science is the only way of knowing, and that questions of morality, questions of truth, are really stupid questions because they can't be answered via the scientific method. And that approach to knowledge has often been called scientism, kind of turning science into a religion. So if you ask, is something right or wrong, Well, that's a stupid question because it can't be answered via the use of the scientific method. Of course, that is not the approach adopted in this class because, as I've already said, we assume certain things to be true even though they can't be proven via the scientific method. Truth in advertising and where I got these ideas. Most of these ideas were gathered from this text, The Mind of the Universe, by Mariano Artigas. It's a pretty good book, and if you have any other time or interest to devote to this matter, I would suggest purchasing a copy and having a read-through of it. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next lecture.